corruption, surrounded by corrupt judges and corrupt politicians. Other than that, there's no pressure.
And Times Person of the Year is Donald Trump. There. I talked about it.
Is only looking at Trump, yet Joe Biden took massive amounts more documents.
The drama's heating up as Trump finds himself entangled in a legal maze with questionable characters all around. The judges, the politicians, you name it. Speaking of Trump, he just nabbed Times Person of the Year title, but here's where things get interesting. Everyone's quick to point out how Biden's document situation was way more extensive, but Trump's still strutting around about his Time magazine feature. Then comes Colbert, who managed to deflate Trump's celebration with just one perfectly timed word. Want to hear how a late-night host managed to turn Trump's big moment into comedy gold? We've got all the details about the quip that set social media on fire and had Trump fuming on his platform. But before we dive deeper into this story, could I ask a quick favor? If you're enjoying this kind of content, hitting that like button and subscribing would mean the world to us.
Along with making the cover this morning, Trump got to ring the big boy bell to open the New York Stock Exchange.
Those people in North Carolina, those are incredible people. Those are incredible patriots. You want freedom? Take pride in your country.
Here's a wild stat. Over 98% of our viewers watch without subscribing. It doesn't cost anything, but it makes a massive difference to our channel. Have you hit that subscribe button yet? Awesome. Thanks so much for your support. Now, back to our story. Picture Trump basking in the spotlight of his Time magazine recognition, probably feeling pretty pleased with himself. But Colbert had other plans. Just when Trump was riding high on his magazine cover achievement and getting to ring the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange, a real big boy moment, as some might say, he was also busy praising his supporters in North Carolina, calling them incredible people and incredible patriots.
Made it look easy, which is no surprise because Trump has spent years practicing his bell ringing.
Ding, 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 ding. The American dream is dead.
So what's this linguistic masterpiece that got under Trump's skin? Get ready for it. Misspell. That's right. Colbert, with his signature wit, crowned Trump the misspell of the year, delivering a punchline that landed perfectly. This clever jab works on multiple levels. It's not just taking aim at Trump's notorious spelling mishaps on social media. It cuts deeper, targeting Trump's overall approach to facts and reality. Colbert essentially suggested that Trump isn't just mangling words. He's distorting truth itself.
Create havoc. These are bad people. I know everything they're doing. I know every move they make. I get it. It's tougher. I think it's probably, in many ways, it's tougher on my family than it is in me. So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that, and a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax.
Would Trump unleash a Twitter storm? Would he try to one-up Colbert? The audience couldn't contain their delight, laughing like they just won the lottery. The reaction spread like wildfire across social media platforms, with people rushing to share Colbert's quip and add their own creative commentary. It was as if someone had thrown a match into a pile of comedy kindling. Now, Trump wasn't exactly thrilled with this verbal uppercut.
Shocking, Trump is not talking? What happened? Did he write himself a check for $130,000?
When the last guy was here, you were shipping jobs to China. Now we're bringing jobs home from China.
You could almost imagine his complexion shifting to an even more intense shade of red. Quite a feat, considering his usual hue. Everyone was on the edge of their seats, wondering how he'd respond to this comedic assault. The anticipation was intense, especially given Trump's track record of passionate reactions. Trump had been having quite a moment, perfecting his bell-ringing technique at the stock exchange with an enthusiastic ding-ding-ding performance. He'd been proclaiming the death of the American dream and sharing his skeptical views about climate change, dismissing it as a profitable scheme rather than a genuine concern. He expressed particular frustration about the impact of various investigations on his family, claiming he could anticipate every move of his opponents.
Mr. Trump, I've got your results right here. How do you live? Your blood type came back as honey mustard.
If he says it, then I'll go with it. And if he wants to be a dictator, then so be it.
When Trump finally fired back at Colbert, his response was notably underwhelming, about as effective as bringing a feather to a gunfight. He resorted to calling Colbert talentless and claimed his show was failing. The response left many wondering, was this unusually restrained reaction signaling something different about Trump's approach to public criticism?
It is very sad that Joe Biden is clearly a dementia patient.
Hillary Clinton, oh, she's crooked, folks. She's crooked as a $3 bill.
You should lock her up, I'll tell you.
Lock her up is right. For what she's done, they should lock her up.
The drama intensified beyond Trump's usual financial maneuvers, quite different from his earlier $130,000 check writing incident. He tried highlighting his economic achievements, particularly contrasting the previous administration's relationship with China with his own bring jobs home approach. But this verbal sparring match was far from over. It was actually ramping up. Colbert had identified Trump's vulnerability and wasn't backing down.
Hillary Clinton, I didn't say lock her up, but the people would all say lock her up, lock her up. Okay. You want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president.
The comedic battlefield was set, though Trump appeared to show up without his full arsenal of wit. Just as Trump thought he'd weathered Colbert's verbal storm, President Biden stepped in with a massive clemency announcement that made Trump's social media outbursts seem insignificant. Trump's reaction to being overshadowed by genuine presidential action was predictably dramatic. While social media was still buzzing about Colbert's misspell quip, Biden announced an impressive 2,500 sentence commutations and 39 pardons in one sweeping move. This display of mercy exceeded anything seen in Trump's tenure. The media spotlight quickly shifted from Trump's Time magazine achievement to Biden's clemency initiative.
And it's bull. It's bull. When does bull? I think it's all bull. I got indicted more than him on bull.
Well, Trump's going to be better at anything than her. She can't even speak, let alone look at you. I mean, yeah, she's not good for anything.
Colbert, ever the skilled comedian, seized this opportunity to contrast Biden's empathetic and generous act of forgiveness and hope with Trump's historically less forgiving approach. Trump, true to form, wasn't going to fade into the background quietly. His response was a cascade of social media posts filled with familiar refrains, calling Biden a dementia patient and reviving his crooked Hillary narrative, complete with calls to lock her up. As his grip on public attention weakened, Trump intensified his social media presence, posting with the persistence of someone desperately seeking attention. Colbert, sensing vulnerability, maintained his comedic assault, weaving together jokes about Biden's clemency and Trump's reactions, much to his audience's delight. As time passed, Trump's composure appeared to deteriorate.
To win, whereas Donald Trump, not only won't he release his bracket, he won't fill one out at all because he's afraid of getting eaten by that shark.
But if I'm sitting down and that boat's going down and I'm on top of a battery, and the water starts flooding in, I'm getting concerned. But then I look 10 yards to my left and there's a shark over there. So I have a choice of electrocution or shark. You know what I'm going to take? Electrocution. I will take electrocution every single time. Do we agree?
His social media posts became increasingly erratic, his public statements more extreme. He painted dire scenarios, comparing potential futures to Detroit's challenges, and his rhetoric grew more intense. The situation culminated in what could only be described as a social media meltdown of epic proportions, with Trump's final digital outburst reaching new heights of dramatic expression.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand what's going on. I mean, I really, 1 minute you feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, now the landslide's going to start. And then there'll be some other weaselly little, sidestep they do or whatever it is. And, this administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your...
The culmination of this social media saga was truly something to behold. Trump's response reached new heights of inflammatory rhetoric, hurling colorful insults at Colbert that would make even the most hardened internet trolls blush. He wove an intricate narrative connecting Biden's clemency actions to alleged deep state machinations, and somehow managed to resurrect the perpetual topic of Hillary's email controversy.
Trump cooks up this plan to force them to sign a deal that will turn over access to their valuable minerals to the United States in exchange for our support. But this shakedown, this meeting got off to a weird start before it even started.
You're all dressed up.
Oh, yes, I had pretty close. How are you? Pretty sure.
He's all dressed up today.
President Trump.
Okay, this is when I knew we were headed for trouble. This was not going to be a good meeting. Everyone knows Donald Trump prefers his leaders shirtless and on a horse.
His reaction served as a perfect example of how not to handle public criticism. The impact of Colbert's seemingly simple wordplay, misspell, had cascading effects that ultimately portrayed Trump in an unfavorable light while elevating Biden's presidential image. It demonstrated a timeless truth about political discourse. Sometimes a well-crafted joke can be more impactful than any formal argument. Trump's frustrated reactions were particularly telling, with him declaring everything as bull and claiming he faced more indictments than others, while also taking shots at his political rivals' speaking abilities. The narrative arc was remarkable.
We are parentless, you know, and we are babysat by the television. We're taught how to think by the television. That's the dangerous thing about what's going on right now. There are generations growing up right now who are learning to lie. That lying is okay. That this
kids say fake news.
That you're supposed to hate half the country. You know, and if anything, we've got to get back to a place where we realize that.
Watching Trump's journey from proudly celebrating his Time magazine cover to descending into a social media spiral. But this episode represents more than just another example of Trump's wounded pride. It illustrates the profound impact that comedy can have on political discourse. Colbert didn't simply generate laughs. He provoked thought and deeper consideration of the political landscape. This exemplifies the essence of effective satire.
As is tradition, except for 4 years ago when Trump refused to do it, the outgoing first couple welcomed the incoming president and first lady, which was interesting to watch. Trump actually got involved in Melania's outfit for the ceremony. A lot of people are talking about it. He told her he thought it would be super hot if she dressed like a goth Al Capone. And so she did. We found Carmen Sandiego.
For those of us observing and engaging with political content on social media, this incident serves as a reminder that humor can be transformative. A well-timed joke doesn't just provide momentary entertainment, it can fundamentally shift the entire conversation. So as you navigate your social media feeds, remember that laughter isn't just about entertainment. In our complex political environment, humor serves as both a coping mechanism and a powerful tool for communication. The ability to find humor in these situations becomes a
like this before. Trump needs cash, and we never heard of most of the crazy stuff you do before, but I mean, nobody ever heard of the president changing the weather with a Sharpie before either. Something tells me over the weekend Trump's going to start talking about how strong Vladimir Putin is, and suddenly a dump truck full of rubles will pull up and cover this for him. But of course, the real loser here is Melania. She may end up with half of the nothing he owns now. I hope she got an advance on that prenup, because if you think she hates him now, wait until he's poor. That's gonna...
Especially vital given the often absurd nature of political theater. Sometimes a good laugh provides both the relief we need and the perspective shift required to better understand the bigger picture. After all, when facing the sometimes bewildering world of politics, humor might be our most effective response, both healing our spirits and sharpening our critical thinking.